Hello and welcome to the North American Rival Series. Today's game coverage is brought to you by Rival Esports. I'm your host Ryan, alongside some of the best casters that you will ever hear. We've got Hunted and Meet and Greek. How you guys doing? Don't shake your head at me like that.
Man, I'm so happy to be here. It's a little bittersweet. I mean, it being our last week, but, you know, it couldn't have come down to a better action, really. I mean, we have a lot of awesome games to play, and I think all three of us are just ready to get started.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks for having us. It's going to be a great day.
We hope you guys and the viewers are all ready to get some great games on the way because we've got 4 awesome matches lined up for you guys today. First up, it's Charlotte Phoenix versus RBG Esports. Then later, 72 Pin Connector versus Stromboli, Monkey Business versus Mirage, and last, Chaos Esports versus Absolute Leverage. But our first game is going to be Charlotte Phoenix versus RBG Esports. RBG, for those of you who don't know, is already out of contention for the season. They will effectively be dropped for Season 10, and they'll have to requalify through the play-ins. How do you think that plays into today, guys?
Well, I mean, it's always going to have an effect a little bit, right? I mean, there's not a ton to play for, but at the same time, if you're RBG, you also know that Charlotte Phoenix is in a position where they really, really want this victory. And if you can play spoiler, you know, kind of go out with a bang. And of course, they're 0-7 on the season. I don't think any team, no matter what their record is, wants to go without a win through the rival series. So I expect them to play just as hard this week as they have any other week.
And George, what are your thoughts?
Well, actually, I talked to Bambi a little bit yesterday before this match, just trying to clear the air of some things. And I asked him about this position they're in, because right now, 0-7, not a good look. But they're going into this game, and he was telling me that we know that we're already dead last, so we'll be going into our match with no nerves. So this is a team with really nothing to lose here. Charlotte Phoenix, on the other hand, everything to lose. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Charlotte right now to perform exceptionally well, and there's not a lot of pressure on RBG to do the opposite. So who knows, maybe those paths will cross in some way that will create an RBG victory. It's going to be very tough, though. It's going to be a very interesting match.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough match, and again, RBG still on the search for that first win. But guys, it sounds like they're ready, so we're going to do our predictions very quickly, and then I'm going to hand it off to you guys. Greek, I'm going to start with you. What do you think, prediction-wise, this is going to turn out?
You know, this is going to be a very tough one. I think I always want to go with the underdog, and I've been with the underdog so many times, so often during these Rival Series B streams, but I can't do it today. It's going to be Charlotte Phoenix. I'm sorry, RBG. You guys know I love you, but it's not going to happen. Charlotte Phoenix are going to take this 3-1. All
right. Hunted, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, George, there's a reason why your prediction score throughout the season hasn't been too good. I'm just going to put that out there. But no, I have to agree with you this time. George.
Shots fired.
Well, hey, I mean,
putting me in the hot seat right
now.
Out.
But I definitely agree. Charlotte Phoenix, we'll go 3-1. I don't think it'll be a straight sweep, although we're going to have to see how Splashy plays in favor of Tool for RBG. So it could be a sweep, but I don't see Charlotte dropping this one, though they still have to perform to the level that we know them to play at.
Yeah, they're going to have to perform pretty well, but I mean, we have RBG Esports. They've got Tool out. Splashy is subbing in for him, so they aren't even playing with their starting roster. And Charlotte Phoenix on top also has just been looking fantastic this whole season. So I'm going to have to call them 3-0 in favor of this one. But guys, we want to know what y'all think. Do exclamation point CLT for Charlotte Phoenix, or do exclamation point RBG for RBG Esports. And last but not least, guys, be sure to follow us on Twitter. That's at Rival Esports GG, and tweet us using the hashtag Rivals. Who knows? We may just talk about you a little bit, but I'm going to pass it off to you guys right now. Take it away.
Great. Thank you so very much, Ryan. George, we've got our first match just about ready to get underway. Again, Charlotte Phoenix and RBG, and it's always a talking point. You cannot talk about the Charlotte Phoenix without talking about the performance of Shadow this season. He has absolutely come in, stepped up to the plate. Do we see him again here take over a series?
I mean, when you're first overall for goals per game and goal participation per game, you're going to be expecting a whole lot from this player. Shadow, without a doubt, I know he's going to be a big part of this series. Don't expect him to come away with less than a couple of goals. He's going to be on almost every single play.
No, I definitely could not agree more. It's been the Shadow show throughout the rival series, and there have been a couple of teams that have been able to keep him in check, at least in a couple of games. I wouldn't say Shadow is ever out of a series against any team, but RBG, they're going to have their hands full, especially playing with a sub. Again, we're going to have to see how Splashy plays, as it looks like game one about to start here, George.
Yeah, game one, fresh 5 minutes on the clock for you guys out there. And we're going to see right here if RBG can become the spoiler, or if Charlotte Phoenix will come out unscathed. Hunted, take this one away.
Here we go. Game number one, as you said, 5 minutes on the clock. 0-0 on the score. This will be Charlotte Phoenix in blue, Turnturo, Shadow, and Karma, or as she so lovingly puts in game, Karmasita. Again, for RBG. Splashy in for Tool, Bambi, and Porklet playing by his side as Karma takes a quick shot. Porklet the save. Shadow rebound saved away. Bambi playing the post well, keeps the game scoreless through the first minute. Splashy trying to play this by Turnturo. Not quite going to be able to find it. It'll be Porklet to send it down. Karma is late getting back to this one. We'll get there before Splashy could redirect. But a couple of chances back and forth early on. A couple of shots for either team. Karma is going to send this into the corner. And really nobody coming out on top quite yet. But I will say Charlotte have had the better chances.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm just taking a look at the RBG defense right now, and I'm very concerned, especially because they're giving the Charlotte Phoenix so much time with the ball in the middle of their own field, their own defensive half. RBG is just stagnant on their goal line. No one's going up to challenge, and this is why this ball has been on the orange half for pretty much this entire game, and why there's so many shot opportunities just like that one that are going for the Charlotte Phoenix, is because RBG, their defense, just not there.
Well, they've kept the ball out for now. That was a bit of a fake. Porklet's away. One-on-one with Karma. Looking for the flick. Not going to be able to find it. Patience from Karma keeps that one away. Splashy, no touch. There's Shadow to Karma. This is off the back while Turin is there. He scores. Rebound play works for Charlotte. It's 1-0.
The rebound does work really well. Draws the entire defense away. And a little bit, maybe a bump from Karma on Bambi. I couldn't really tell from the angle, but could have given just enough room for Turnturo to throw that one in. And again, just big heads-up awareness plays coming out from Charlotte right now. And even though they're only up by a goal, it still shows they are really in control of this game.
The fifth shot of the game goes in. It's 1-0 for the team in blue. Good start to early game one. They're looking for a second goal now. Bambi's going to have to cut across. Shadow to challenge him there. Karma will keep it going. This will bounce down in front, touched onward. Turin is going to turn. Actually manages to pick up the ball in the corner. Portland wants to play this one away. Solid second touch. But of course, Shadow all the way back to his own half. 1-0. Halftime come and gone. Game number one. This will bounce out towards Portlet. Solid touch from Turnturo. Now Karma, can you find the pass across? Had Turin there. No shot on. That should be an easy clear, but you got to be careful if you're RBG. Don't like to see those double commits. And you already mentioned they look a little lost on the defense early on here in game one.
Yeah, and if you're taking a look at the overall field and where the RBG players are spread out, a lot of them are sharing a zone, and it's not working out for them, especially because they're double committing so often. It's just giving any sort of offensive opportunity completely away back into the hands of Charlotte Phoenix, and they just continue their onslaught.
Well, they've got a minute 45 to RBG to try to find an equalizer. Porklet wants to play this down in front. Shadow tries to rush out towards it. He can't quite get there. It will be Turnturo to guard the front of the cage. Porklet plays it back in. Back and forth we go yet again. No team really able to maintain possession. RBG still looking to break into the blue half. There's a good pass back to Splash. He's just going to send it forward. This will be Shadow off his own back wall. Underneath Bambi, down to Karma. One-on-one with Porklet. Shadow in transition as well, but it will bounce all the way out. Nobody quite there for Charlotte to make that play. Now here comes RBG. Can they find a touch? Splashy. It's not the greatest touches when they're entering the zone right now from RBG. And you can tell there's just no ball control in the blue hat.
Yeah, there's relatively low cohesion coming through on RBG's offense, and that has me really concerned as Karma accidentally bumps that one away. It doesn't even matter. Turinturo throwing his second one in for the game. And you can just tell the RBG defense just scrambling, trying to figure out something to do here. And because they're so rushed, their defensive rotation is just not there, and Charlotte Phoenix just taking complete advantage every single time. They're up an easy 2-0.
They most certainly are. Karma looking for a third. It will be Bambi. Back wall down to Splashy. That's a shot on. Shadow ready and able. They'll make the clear away. 25 seconds off the ceiling comes Karma. Doesn't use the flip on the ground. Out to Shadow. Score. 3-0 Charlotte Phoenix. And that play showing the speed of the blue side. The creativity as well. Beautiful pass from Karma to Shadow.
The creativity's there, Hunted, but Jeff, think about this. While Karma was bringing that ball all the way downtown, nobody from RGB was even pressuring her. And that's the problem with this defense right here, is that they're sitting so stagnated in their own net on their goal line, even so. But they're just not committing to the play. They're not cutting off these offensive passes, and this is why they're in a position right now where they're down 3-0 in game one, and now not looking too confident going into game two. I think they just need a refresh, need a reset going into this next game. And then we can start talking about them creating some more offensive pressure, some more offensive, just in general, because we didn't really see that much. I know this RBG squad is very talented. Individually, they're very skilled. But the cohesion, I don't really see it, and that's what's concerning me. Not saying that there's a lot on the line for them right now, because their place in this season's already been set in stone, but I still think there's a lot for them to play for right now. I think that they can bring more to the table.
No, most definitely. And it did feel like game number one was a little bit of a struggle to get things sorted out on the defensive half. The Charlotte Phoenix, when they wanted that ball possession, they found it. And one of the key things that, especially during the second half of the game, where what looked like RBG was really trying to make a push onto the blue side, there was just a lot of the break-ins into the zone weren't the best, right? There were a lot of giveaways, just sending it back to the blue side, sending it to a defender waiting for a clear, and there was no, okay, we're just going to take the ball into the zone, we're going to hold on to it and look for a passing play. And when you're going to do that against the Charlotte Phoenix, it seems like there's always somebody downfield ready to punish you in transition for that. And we saw that in the third goal, Karma coming off the ceiling. I mean, you mentioned it was a little bit of a slow response from RBG, but that's the danger of the Phoenix. You give them the ball in their own half, they'll send it your way, and you've got to be ready for it.
Well, RBG has a whole grocery list of things to work on here in game two. Now, I think one of the most important things they should really try to strive for right here is their defense. But if they can get their offense going at the same time, it might work out, but Turinturo is going to say no way. He's going to punish Porklet for even thinking that he was going to be able to bring that one out of his corner without any bit of rush from Shadow.
Good challenge, yeah, from Shadow. Perfect to play that down to Turinturo for the first of the game. Makes it 1-0 for the Phoenix. This will be Splashy. Try to play this out of the corner. Bambi up for it. Does he have enough for a double? Not quite. Karma would play it onward. Now Splashy. Hard off the ceiling. Bit of a giveaway there. Shadow will take it from him, but here's Bambi. He's got Porklet through mid. Karma, solid challenge. Turin up to it quickly. This will come down off the sidewall. Shadow waiting in mid. Taking his time. Karma just watching and waiting. Not a whole lot she could do with that ball. Porklet no touch, but now Bambi plenty of time and space. We'll play it back down the pitch. 1-0, minute going by. I think no shots yet registered here for RBG. That was dangerous from Turin off the ceiling. Bambi tries to stuff it home. That'll be the first of the game. It's Karma with an easy block.
And right there was a perfect situation where RBG could have pressured just a little bit more, because they found Charlotte Phoenix in a little bit of a predicament where that ball was almost dancing on that goal line, and we had Karma and I believe it was Shadow kind of stuck in the same spot. But no one from RBG there to take control of that situation. And that's where we really need to see them strive and make more advances on, because while their defense is struggling a little bit, it would help them out if they didn't have so much pressure and they didn't just give the ball away every time they brought it downfield.
Here's a breakout opportunity. Porklet to Bambi. It will be sent all the way down towards Karma. Porklet looking for the challenge. Will find it. Going to first turn off his own back wall to play it down. Bounces out for Splashy. Turn just getting up there in time to make the play. Karma to Shadow. Shot on. Porklet saves. Solid read from Porklet to make that play. A little bit of an awkward ball on the back wall. Here comes Shadow to help out his teammates, but it will be cleared eventually by Porklet as we pass halftime. Game number 2 still underway. 1-0. For the Charlotte Phoenix, a very similar position to what we saw in Game 1 for them. See if they can hold on to this lead as well, as now Porklet wants to try to find something, and still RBG haven't cracked the code in the series yet. As Karma, quick shot, saved by Splashy. Shadow off the sidewall to be Turnturo to play this one, but again, Bambi and company doing a good job keeping the ball clear, but they have not been able to get out of their own half.
Yeah, and again, I like to be a little bit critical when I'm talking about these teams, but again, it's hard to play very confidently and very well against the Charlotte squad. They've been doing this the entire season, and if they are able to get the victory here in this best of 5, they'll be pretty much on the cusp of clinching the #1 seed here and getting the auto promotion to the next season of the RLCS. So, little bit of a difference between these two squads. A lot on the line for one of them. And going
Certainly
forward, just a lot to play for.
Well, certainly the most coveted prize here of the rival series is Bambi takes a quick shot. Good keep away by Turnturo. As this one's again towards the net, it'll be Shadow to make the play. Bambi wants to keep it in. Eventually it'll find its way out towards mid. There's Splashy. Right to Karma, though, and she will take her time off her own corner wall. Porklet with the challenge. Bambi down in front. Shadow again. Able to make the stop. Here's Splashy looking for a touch towards his teammates. Karma's going to cut that off. Porklet will rotate forward, and they keep the ball in. Here's Porklet again. This is falling down, but it's Turo. Here comes Splashy off the crossbar with 35 seconds left to go. This is out towards Porklet. He scores. Tied up at 1, RBG. They finally figure out the defense, and it's 1-1 with 31 seconds left.
And I was about to say, Jeff, RBG, they were cracking at it for the past 45 seconds. They had consistent offense on the Charlotte half of the field. I was going to be surprised if they wouldn't have 1 or 2 great shot attempts within that time frame, but they put one really good one on. It finds its way to the back of their net. I was very concerned that they wouldn't be able to find a goal in the first 2 games of the series. I was proven wrong. They're doing some great things now. Let's see if they can keep it up. But Karma almost slides it by Porklet. He was very lucky to have enough boost in the tank to get to that. And we might go to overtime here in game 2.
We most certainly will as the ball touches the floor. It's 1-1. Overtime game 2. RBG would love to see a 1-1 score counter in the series score after this one if they can. Here's Bambi looking to go over top of Karma. Nearly found it, couldn't quite get it by. Shadow, corner wall. Carry it all the way down the pitch. Porklet, tough position. Shadow scores. The solo effort, and Charlotte take game 2.
And the problem here was that they gave Shadow so much time to bring it downfield. He was only met right at the halfway mark on the field. By then, it was already too late. He picked up that midfield boost, had a full tank, was able to bring it downtown, throw it in there. And that was just the speed coming out from Charlotte Phoenix is something that RBG that's just not getting used to in this series. They started to bring it back there in the second half of that game, but then overtime, they just didn't have any chance to create anything. It's unfortunate for them. Now they're in a reverse sweep situation. I wouldn't want to be here. I don't think I could even think about taking a game against these guys, but somehow they need to find a way.
Well, they don't have a whole lot of time. As you said, they're down 0-2 here in the series, and they've got to try to claw their way back. Take it one game at a time. They're going to have to win 3 in a row, but it starts with game number 3. And it was close. I mean, both games being one-goal games. This one going into overtime, of course. Well, I'm sorry, game number 1 wasn't exactly a one-goal game, but it was a one-goal game for a majority of it until towards the end when Charlotte Phoenix kind of broke free. But RBG, I mean, they've played well. They kind of got caught. I think Porklet got caught a little bit thinking that Shadow was going to go up the wall, and it just ends up popping out to him. It's just an unfortunate position. But the fight from RBG is there, as you saw them generate some offense in that final minute. Score that tying goal. Just wasn't quite enough to overcome the Charlotte Phoenix in game 2. They're going to have to try again as we are underway. Game number 3. Starting things off quickly with a double demo by the Charlotte Phoenix. That was shot on. Bambi will make the save. Splashy might have an open net.
Oh, that's
Turo. He'll play it into his own goal, trying to get back, and that's a great way to start game 3 for RBG.
It's a great way indeed, because I saw Turo demo to the RBG defenders on that same play, and they were able to respawn Splashy, who was able to get back into the play and throw one downfield. Of course, he had a little bit of help to throw it in the net, but in the end, his aggression led to the goal. That's very big for RBG. This could be the start of something magical. But of course, we'll have to see if the Charlotte Phoenix have anything to say about that.
There's still plenty of time for the Charlotte Phoenix to find an equalizer. Karma will take that off her goal line. Bambi wants to keep it in. Not the greatest touch from Turin. This is going to be a pass out towards Porkley. He just doesn't have the angle to take a hard shot. Now Splashy, back wall. Hard clear from Shadow. Bambi, solid read to keep it in. Turo trying to take his time. Gets demoed. It's now Porklet all the way around. This is going to be far too far for his teammates, as this is a much better possession game so far from RBG. They have a goal. I mean, they haven't officially registered a shot yet, as here's Karma. The double touch almost found it. Turo gonna pop this one up. Porklet has to make a quick save, but you know, until these past 15-20 seconds or so, Meet and Greek, it's been a pretty solid game from RBG.
It has been, but I'm still concerned. And one thing I'm worried about for RBG is that if they concede a goal here and it gets tied up, would they be able to fight back and retake the lead? It's the first time we've seen them with the lead this series. Let's see if they can hold it under the immense pressure that they're being put through right now.
As you said, pressure is on. Turo towards Shadow. Karma double committing again. That's the second time we've seen the Charlotte Phoenix overcommit on an offensive play. And now here comes the transition. Bambi down looking for Splashy. It'll be Karma to play it on. A 3-on-1 back the other way. Porklet gets bumped. He won't get there, and Karma will score. As soon as I talk about an overcommitment from one team, the other team does it as well. This time it's the Charlotte Phoenix who capitalized, tie the game.
Yeah, and a big part of that play, as soon as Karma had possession, Turo had his eyes set on Porklet, was able to bump him away, completely take him out of the play, and that's just really good awareness, good team communication. And again, it's just something that RBG, they need to figure out how to play against that. Again, if you're last in net, it's going to be very tough when it's a 2-on-1 situation, but you need to find a way to play through this aggression because it's not going to stop.
Very difficult position for that final defender. Couldn't quite make the stop, so we sit at 1-1 with just over 2 minutes left to go. Game number 3. Charlotte Phoenix looking to put RBG away here if they can. RBG still trying to battle back. This time it's Karma up towards Shadow. Passes down to Turnturo. He's going to take his time. The flick there. Good save from Splashy. They'll try to turn on for the block. It will eventually bounce out towards Bambi and played back into the blue corner. Porklet not able to find the touch. Turnturo, can he go over top of everyone? Couldn't get by Splashy. Liked the opportunity, liked the idea from Charlotte Phoenix. There's a good demo from Bambi as I say that, though, on the other side. It's now Bambi. He's got to play. Karma is down. Porklet fires, saved by Shadow. And again, Charlotte Phoenix escaping from the demo play, and it stayed tied 1-1.
And this is what I want to see from RBG, this aggression. The demo plays is coming out and shaking up the Charlotte defense. Will it be enough? Because they're still not really throwing it in just in time. I'm still seeing some delays from the offense. Players not in prime positioning just quite yet. If they all play just a little bit faster, I think it'll go really well for them.
We'll see if they up the speed in the final minute. We still sit tied. Nobody able to break the deadlock. Will we see another overtime? I think Bambi and Porklet want to say something about that as this is going to bounce. Bambi over to Porklet, but it's just a bit too far ahead. Couldn't get the touch on it. It's now Splashy. They'll keep it in. Here's Porklet. Can't quite get by Shadow. It'll bounce down towards Bambi, but Karma is there. Now Splashy, quick turn by Turnturo. Down into the corner. Shadow lurking and eventually wins the clear. Here's Bambi. 15 seconds left to go in regulation time. Game 3. Now down towards Porklet. Back wall. Splashy is not anywhere close. Does not want to overcommit to this ball, and I can't really say that I blame him. That was a great opportunity for RBG. There might be one final one. If Karma can get the flick, it's going to be Porklet to play it. This will bounce all the way down. Will Shadow keep going? Not too long. It will be 1-1 overtime, game 3.
Another overtime here. With RBG be able to settle down, because last overtime they didn't have that much time to really settle in as Charlotte Phoenix were able to attack really quickly. Let's see if they're going to be able to create anything here, or if they'll be caught just a little bit out of the zone as Bambi was last. What? Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness, from Shadow. What a play. The flip reset waits to go between the defenders. And it's Shadow again. We talked about him in the pre-show. He takes over series. He wins the series this time. And the Charlotte Phoenix, they complete the sweep and move ever closer to that automatic qualification into the RLCS.
And I believe I saw Turnturo again playing super aggressively on offense, getting some bumps in there on that last play again. And right there, Jeff, you have it. Charlotte Phoenix, just one game left in their rival series season. They have a chance to clinch the #1 seed. Will they do it? That's the question.
That it is, and I think I know the man for the job on the job here to answer said question in Ryan, and he I'm sure has plenty of answers for us. Ryan, what did you think of that series? I know that you called it a 3-0 sweep for the Phoenix. You were right with your prediction, but it was pretty close. I mean, RBG, all things considered, played a pretty close series.
No, I mean, I felt like RBG was doing a great job. The biggest issue I saw with them, though, was that when they would get these leads, they would immediately lose out on it. But the other problem they have to face, though, is Charlotte is such a passing team. They have all 3 of their players are top 4 positions for assists for the entire league. Like, you are going to have a hard time against this team no matter who you are. And I think the biggest issue is by the time RBG started to get their feet underneath them, it was too late. You've got to find a way to lock down that passing play style these guys have, and they just couldn't quite do it. But I want to get a little bit more insight from you guys. Where do you think things could have gone had they taken Game 3? Do you think that they would have ended up losing Game 4, or do you think they could have possibly pulled off that reverse sweep? Just going hypothetical for a moment.
I mean, both Greek and I predicted a 3-1 series, so I think We would have probably seen the Charlotte Phoenix bounce back in Game 4. Again, all of the games were close. I mean, the only one that wasn't a one-goal game was Game 1, but it was a one-goal game for a majority of that game. And I don't know. It didn't feel like the Phoenix were really playing that offensive style that we normally see from them. I mean, I agree with you that they are a very heavy passing team, but we didn't see a lot of that in this series. It felt like it really seemed like they were going for the solo plays and just banging it off the back wall when they had the opportunity. I feel like if they were under stress, under pressure from RBG, we would have seen them revert back to that style a little bit more, and the goals would have started flowing. But, I mean, again, it worked out for them. You can't really blame them for playing that style if they won all 3 games.
And but really the biggest thing I saw, and I agree with you, I think they did a great job with a lot of those solo plays. I mean, again, Shadow taking both of those overtimes in pretty spectacular fashion. Like, he took both of those final goals in pretty highlight reel type plays. And I mean, just really, before we kind of break off here, I mean, I want to get opinions on who your MVP was for the series. And Hunted, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, you kind of mentioned him there. I mean, Shadow had 2 highlight reel goals for overtime, and you talk about everybody on the Phoenix being in the top 4 for assists. I mean, when you have a goal scorer like Shadow on your team, all you got to do is feed him the ball and he'll score. And he did what he was brought in to do. He scored goals. He won games. And, for that reason, you got to give him the MVP. I mean, 2 overtime game winners. How can you not?
And George, who is your MVP? Yeah, it looks like we might be having some technical issues, unfortunately, on George's end. But I'm willing to bet he's probably going to say the same thing that we're saying here. And so, I mean, I have to agree. I think it's going to be Shadow on my end. Just some quick stats on him, though, because I feel like it's important for everybody to understand how solid of a player Shadow is in the entire league. I mean, if we could dictate who the MVP was amongst ourselves, he calls Shadow. I think if we could call the MVP of the season, I think I would call it a Shadow. So here's a couple stats from him. He is 1st overall in goals per game. He's 2nd overall in assists per game. 1st overall in shots per game. 1st overall in shooting percentage. And 1st overall in goal participation. 4 stats alone, he is 1st overall in the entire league. I mean, this guy's just a monster. And you could see it right there in how he handled those 2 overtimes. He just can't be stopped. And so I'm really excited to see how these guys go into the remainder of this season. They got 1 more game next week. That's going to be on Friday. But that is going to be about it here for our first game. Guys, be sure to go check us out on Discord. Do ! Discord. You can go join the conversation over in our server as we talk about these games as they happen. But that is going to do it for us here. We'll be right back, hopefully with our technical issue fixed up for you guys. But we'll see y'all in a bit with our next matchup, 72 Pin Connector versus Stromboli.